Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also over on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. Now you might have already spotted something slightly different. I'm trialling a new light. I bought this kind of fancy, bendy, goes in all sorts of directions lamp because I wanted to try and film some videos of making the Christmas decorations that I showed you a couple of weeks ago using the bendy placemats. And I didn't really have a light that would do that. So I've set it up to sort of film with today to see what happens. A couple of you had commented that when I film during the day, the picture quality is better when you can see the stitching a bit better. So I thought I'd give this a go. It is a Saturday evening, bit of a miserly day here in West Wales, but I thought I'll give it a go, see what happens. At the moment, every time I close my eyes, all I can see is a ring. So if I can still see the ring in my mind's eye by Sunday lunchtime, I'm not sure I can do this every week, but we'll give it a go. I've got lots and lots to share with you today. Before I start that, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of you who left lovely comments on last week's video. For those of you who haven't watched, I did a treat box, a try a treat box, which I kindly get sent, and it was a Japanese box, and Ness's favourite country that she'd love to go and visit is Japan. And so when it was a Japanese box, I said to her, did she want to do it with me? And I'd had a chat with her dad to see about whether what was his thoughts about her being on excuse me, on YouTube, because it's actually quite a big decision to make. And I said to him, look, I'll put it on right at the end of the video. I won't use her picture on the thumbnail. I wouldn't put anything on Instagram that necessarily sort of says that she's there, and it'll only be those people who stay right to the end to see her. And he was fine with it, and she was really excited about doing it, and she was really good. She was really good. I've watched the video back a few times, and she's a confident little bean. She is a confident little bean. But she loved it. She really loved it, and she's loved reading all your comments. If you haven't seen that and you want to go back and have a look, it's quite funny in places. Right, I'm going to show you some stitching. Let's do that. The first thing I've worked on this week, and I haven't ironed anything, and I haven't necessarily even finished all the threads, is my Deadly Aquarium Lola Crow. So let's see whether we can see. Okay, it looks quite nice in the light. We are on a break week this week. The last week was there's a stonefish. Hang on. That's just folded it in the wrong place, Michelle. There we go. There's a stonefish down here, and there's a lionfish here, and then there's another little fish up here. And I've realised there's a couple more of the colours that I haven't got aside from the one yellow. So I think I do need to do a little order to pick up the last few threads, but that actually looks really nice in the light. The stitching looks nice anyway, that's the main thing. So yeah, as I said, we've got a break week this week, so there's been no new chart on Friday. So I had made a start on trying to extend the frame, because there's another almost like a matching part here to go on this side if you haven't seen it already. So I'm there or thereabouts, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to keep up and maybe even catch up, so that all I've got to do every week is the bit that's coming out. So I worked on that, and then the other thing I did was worked on what came from my order from the Talking Dog Stitcher. So I told you I'd placed an order with Rachel, who is the Talking Dog Stitcher, who now has an online needle workshop called Talking Dog Stitchery. And I placed an order with her, and it arrived on Monday morning. So I gave it to Tuesday before I started this thing, but I couldn't wait. So let me show you what I bought, and I'll show you what I've started to stitch as well. So let me just show you what I bought first of all. Now, I've been after these charts for ages, and she's got 2 of them in, and she's said she's going to get the other 2 seasons in probably at the beginning of July. So I got Sampler Seasons Autumn by Blueberry Ridge, And I also got Sampler Seasons Winter. And then I bought 2 threads, 2 of the Cottage Garden threads. For the autumn one, I bought 1901, which is the terracotta. And for the winter one, I bought LM25, which is called Elderberry, which is a beautiful sort of dark blue. Now, if you're not familiar with Cottage Garden threads, this is the one that I've been using. And these are actually brilliantly packaged. If you've never used them before, you might be thinking, how am I supposed to use these? How am I supposed to actually get this out of the packet? It comes like this. So I saved this one to show you. And all you do is untwist it. It's literally just tucked up in there. Untwist it like that, so it's hanging down. And then when you want to use a thread, I'll do this one because this is the one I'm stitching with, you just pull it out, and there's your 6 strands of thread for you to single out or make into doubles, depending on what you're stitching. So I couldn't wait, and I started stitching the autumn one. And this is a piece of Fox and Rabbit Full Moon from February 2024. Let me just take that sticker off, and you can perhaps see the fabric. It's sort of like a, Full Moon's a really good name for it actually, because it's that kind of like creamy, beigey with some darker patches, exactly as if you're looking at the moon of an evening. Well, I got into this one a bit, and this is where I've got to. So I can't remember if I said 36 count, but it is 36 count. I'm using 1 strand over 2 fabric threads, and this is where I am. So I've got to take this border all the way along to here, and then the bottom border and the other side border are slightly different. So you've got this border here which matches, and this border here which matches. And then I've got to put in the 2 pumpkins, and then other than that I'll pretty much have everything in place and outlined. But I've really liked this. There's something really, really nice about just having a monochromatic stitch on the go, or just a single thread stitch, because obviously this has got a bit of orange, a bit of brown, but that is looking really nice. I've got in mind that I want to stitch all 4 of them and then almost like patchwork them together with additional material. So I would pick materials that had kind of browns and oranges, and sort of build a border around this one, and then do the same with the winter one, and do the same with the summer and the spring, and then kind of put all 4 of them together. But I don't know. I'd also had an idea of a drum, but I don't know how well it would suit a drum. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. The fabric that I've picked out incidentally for the winter one is another Fox and Rabbit, because I want them to be all the same. And it's this one, which is called Arctic Fox, which is kind of like a bluey, a grey, or a grey, probably more of a grey. But I think that will look really, really nice on that one. And then the other thing that I picked out from Rachel's collection was this. Now, I don't have any of these. This is my first one. This is Heart in Hand Seaside Town by Cecilia Turner. Now, I've seen these. I love them, but I've never done one. And it comes with, I'll try and just show you without showing you the chart. It comes with some little beads as well. Suggestion is 32 count undyed linen. So we'll go for a 32 count, because otherwise the beads won't fit properly. And then the threads are a lot of Classic Colourworks but I shall just use a mixture of whatever I've got plus some DMCs. But I do like the little drums. I like the little drums, and I also like the idea, and I don't know if I've got one to hand actually, of finishing them on a spool and just sort of leaving it tied up so that you can untie it and see the whole thing. So that's my other thing. Now, Rachel's been super kind in 2 ways. One, she's made me an affiliate, so I do have a little link down below. If you'd like to go shopping at Rachel's shop, Talking Dog Stitchery, then I get a little bit of commission, so thank you for that if you do. But she's also given me a £10 gift voucher to give away. So £10 gift voucher to the Talking Dog Stitchery. Now, not only that, I'm going to give a £10 gift voucher to Talking Dog Stitchery as well. So there'll be 2 £10 gift vouchers up for grabs for next week. Now, if you want to enter for that, there is a little bit of a condition on this one, I'm afraid. Currently, Rachel only ships to the UK. So you have to be in the UK in order to be able to receive what you purchase from your gift voucher. So technically you need to be in the UK, or you need to be able to get your stuff from an address in the UK. So if you've got a brother, a sister, father-in-law, whoever who lives in the UK that she can send your stuff to, all good, all good. But other than that, you do need to be in the UK for this one. So 2 £10 vouchers, one courtesy of Rachel, one courtesy of me. And if you want to enter for those, if you can use the word dog, that would be great, dog. And then we'll draw that next week as well, because I've got other gifts, no, not other gifts, other giveaways for next week as well to be drawn. So for next week. Right, that reminds me, a couple of giveaway bits of admin. I am waiting on hearing from a couple of people. I haven't heard from the person who won this last week, and I'll put their winning comment up on the corner there. I can't get my words today. Must have used them all up in the week. Yeah, so I haven't heard from the person who won this one, and I also haven't heard from the person who gets to choose their own PDF chart from Little Loop Stitching, who I believe from memory is Louisa Sharp. So I haven't heard from you, Louisa. So if you can drop me a comment, an email, a DM on Instagram, something like that, I can pass on your information. If I haven't heard from those 2 people in a couple more weeks' time, then I'll redraw them. Redraw them. That was a difficult word too. I have also got giveaways on last week's video. I'm going to need those in a minute. Didn't mean to drop them. For Ruthie's charts. So if you haven't entered for last week's giveaways on last week's videos, then go and do that. Now, I would be really kind and tell you all of the key words, but I'm not entirely sure I can remember them all. Chicken. Come on, test your brain, Michelle. That might be house. If it's not, I'll put it across the bottom, what it is. Magpie. People have been loving this one. Absolutely loving it. And summer, I think. If I've got any of those wrong, I will put them underneath, so you don't have to go back and watch last week's video. But why would you not want to? Why wouldn't you want to? Right, I've got a little bit of Happy Mail that came with a little bit of haul. So I'm just going to pick that up because I've just thrown it on the floor. Just taking a little minute there as well, while you were busy, to have a look at my notes as well, because I've got lots of things to share with you. So Happy Mail, or happiness that I've received. I got this one from my mum. She's finished stitching that, or very nearly finished stitching that, so she's passed that one on to me, which is lovely. I love this one. And she stitched, when she was stitching this part of the chart, just that tiny, sorry, that ring light's giving me jip, that tiny little bit, I was like, oh my goodness, that would make such a cute little scissor fob. It would be so pretty. And I've seen, actually, somebody did an exchange piece which was just this bird in an oval frame, or an arch frame, and it was beautiful. So I really want to do that. I also bought something from Vivian, Vivian and Trevor. Hi Trevor. She often posts on UK Cross Stitchers stash unloading, and she posted these Renato Parolin. Let's take them out of the charts, and they're meant to be little Christmas cards, but they're some of the famous trees, and they're all slightly different, and they're beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. Each one is we don't give sizes, do we? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, about 85 by 55. So they're not huge, and they're designed to be little Christmas trees, but I think they look so cute as little Christmas decorations, or as maybe even 2 or 3 of them in a row. And then Vivian was very kind, and she said that she'd been playing around with dyeing some trims, and so she sent me a little pack of her trims that she's been dyeing. So there's at the top there's a chenille that's obviously been hand dyed. It's got lots of variation there. A rick-rack, another fancy one, another fancy one, and another rick-rack at the bottom. So brilliant for the tops of drums and scissor books and things like that. So thank you ever so much for those, Vivian. That's really, really kind of you to include those. Now, plans. I've got a little bit of plan, and this comes into the freebie as well. My freebie, I'm pretty sure I've shared before, but I'm sharing it again for a really, really good reason, is this one, Light by Barbara Anna. It's difficult. It doesn't really catch up as well, does it, I think? So I've got too much light on my light. This is by Barbara Anna, and this is a freebie. Okay, so this counts as my freebie for this week, but it is also something that Sally, Flossie Sews and Grows, and Sew Me Sarah are starting on the 26th of June as one of their 50 starts for 50 this year. And I've wanted to stitch this one for ages. Now I know that Sally's going to join in on my Stitch Strawberries for Wimbledon in the first 2 weeks of July. So I'm going to join in on this one, because I've had this frame for ages, and I've always thought that this would look nice in this frame. Now I think I'm going to have to stitch it pretty small, definitely 40 count, maybe even 46 count, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. I've got to do a bit more measurements, but I think if I stitch it small enough, it's going to fit in this arched frame. If not, I'll save this arched frame for that bird that I was just talking about and do this slightly bigger. I also want to tell you about a stitch along that I'm going to be starting. Now, this is going to require some paperwork. So this is another one of the stitch alongs from the Historic Sampler Company, and this is a Halloween one. So this is right up my street. It's called Happy Halloween Stitch Along. I'm going to be popping some pictures up of the sort of pre-release little snippets, pictures that they've released. So same as before, you can get it as a PDF download, or as a kit pack with Aida or linen, or as a kit pack with a luxury gift box, which has got all these lovely fancy bits in them. So you've got a ghost needle minder, drawstring project bag, wooden floss drops, a beach hoop, sparkly embroidery thread, and a very sweet treat. Wow. Although I don't really need any more sweet treats today, if I'm honest. It was, yeah, I started the day with a Belgian bun. My mum's dog had to go to the vet because he's got a bit of an ear infection, and so the appointment was 9:15. So I went and posted out the giveaway from last week, the lady who had been in touch. Hi Chris. And then yeah, there's a lovely little shop in Cardigan called Cardigan Bay Brownies, and they make all these fabulous things. So I kind of bought a few little cakes and treats to have sort of mid-morning. So by the time we got back, that was kind of the first thing I ate, was a Belgian bun. And then a bit later on the day we went to Marks and Spencer's, and I love their Florentines. So yeah, there was a few of those eaten, and then it's not been a good day really. It hasn't been a good day. I'm slightly grateful that the weather's been so horrible that I've been able to stay in my hoodies all summer long, because it'd be really difficult if I hadn't. Anyway, I really digressed there. And I can't even think how I got onto Belgian buns. So this is dispatched if you're going for the kit and the caboodle, as we would call it. 24th of June is the dispatch day, but you can get in there really quickly. And then basically they're releasing things every other week like they normally do. So the 8th of July, the 22nd of July, the 5th of August, and then the 19th of August. So I can't wait to join in with that. It looks really, really fabulous. So in other news, I've got a spot at the Wrexham Retreat for next year. Now, this is hosted by Lynn, who is the Lancashire Stitcher, who I'm sure you all will know. And if you don't know Lynn, you need to go and watch her videos, because I love Lynn's videos. I love them. There's 2 next year. There's one right at the end of May, beginning of June, and then there's one in July, and I'm going to the May-June one because it's on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I can actually go on the Friday because it's half term. It's the Friday of half term. Super, super excited about that. Quite often if they're on a Friday, I don't get to use the Friday, and so then I have to think, is it value for money for me, because I can only go 2 days, and this is excellent value for money. So yeah, super excited about that. Right, have I done everything? Have I got through my pile? Because I've got something special to show you. I have, I've got something really special. Now, I don't know if this is going to ever be reproduced, and I'll show you for why. You'll have to forgive a little bit of the state that she's in, because she came in this frame and I knew she needed to come out of the frame pretty quick, but whoever put her in that frame has used excessive amounts of masking tape, and I've started trying to get the masking tape off. But the fabric, this is on the finest fabric of anything I own, and it almost feels like a waxed fabric. It's really, really interesting stuff. But let me show you. I'm going to come really close. It's a little bit faded, but it's so fine, stitched with silk. And then we come down to this bottom seam. Now, as I said, you can probably see the tape there. That's not my tape. There is that bottom seam. That bottom seam is mostly freehand embroidery, which is why I'm not sure I'll ever get to reproduce her. I've got ideas of maybe doing something similar in cross stitch, and I'm sticking to her now. But this is Elizabeth Clark 1814. Look at those birds and the cartouche and the dogs and the little squirrel down here and the basket. Let me come over this side. As I said, this is finer work than anything that I own up to now. It's finer than my Norfolk. It's finer than a couple of the other ones that I've got too. This is incredible. I daren't count it, or I will count it. It's not that I don't care, but I haven't counted it yet. And it's just amazing. It says, see how the lilies flourish, white and fair. See how the ravens fed from heaven are. Then ne'er distrust thy God for cloth or bread, while lilies flourish and the ravens are fed. I love the way she spelt cloth. But look at those birds. So yeah, I may do a design based on the bottom, but in cross stitch, but I don't know as I'd ever get to reproduce this. Now, I've no idea where she came from. I'm going to have a hard job finding her. But she's amazing. I can't wait to get this horrible tape off, get her a bit more stable, because actually the cloth is in really good shape. Apart from the tiny bits at the bottom where somebody's taken her out of the frame already, it's amazing. So if you can tell me anything about this, I would love to know. I would love to know. And that's it from me. It feels like it's been a little bit bitty, but hopefully you've enjoyed. Do go back and have a look at last week's video. There's a couple of things in there that you might want to watch. For example, Nest, you might want to go back and have a look at the treat box, and you might want to have a look at the giveaways from last week. But don't forget to enter for the giveaways for this week as well. And I'll see you next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.